Snapshots. Written by Shobhaa, narrated by Benaifer Mirza. Chapter number 1. Prem liked to make love in public places. The first time he'd suggested it to Aparna, they were weekending in Goa. It was the tail end of the monsoon. The sky was smoke grey, like the colour of Prem's unusual eyes. It was drizzling lightly as they walked along the beach, hand in hand. Amazing how many people from Bombay one meets in Goa during the rains, Prem commented, pushing back a strand of hair from Aparna's wet face. Car-trade tourists, she said laconically, like us. Prem kicked idly at an empty Bisleri bottle and laughed. Did I hear you right? Cut-rate. And you? What does that make me, boss lady? Aparna looked straight at him. A hanger-on? Sidekick? Sycophant? Chamcha? Kept man? Adulterer? Take your pick, Prem. For a minute, his smoke-grey eyes looked darker and smokier. His smile, which had temporarily frozen, picked up at the corners. He ran his fingers through his wet hair, threw back his head, and laughed. I like your style, Aparna. I really do. You know something? You are the first woman I've met who has balls. Balls of steel. You clang as you walk. Bet you didn't know that. Maybe that's what keeps me interested and working for you. Fuck off, Prem, Aparna said affectionately as they resumed strolling along the stone parapet of the Taj village. You work for me because I pay you top dollar, more than your market value. Let's face it, you've priced yourself out of the job bazaar. Prem pulled at her bikini clasp playfully. I render services your other execs don't or can't. I think we have a fair deal. It was incredible how many familiar faces they encountered on this one strip of beach. Has the entire ad community moved to Goa for the weekend? Prem asked. Aparna surveyed the scantily clad bathers before saying, It is a long weekend. Besides, we don't exactly own this place. Prem smiled. At the rate at which you're going, Aparna, you soon might. Your ambition, man, that's something else. I like it. But it's kind of scary. Aparna dug her toes into the loosely packed wet sand and wiggled them. Prem, I get the feeling you just paid me a compliment. Correct me if I'm wrong. Prem caught her by the shoulders and whirled her around to face him. Let's fuck, he said, his eyes like the rain-laden monsoon clouds above. Right now, and here? Aparna asked with a laugh in her voice. I'm serious, Aparna. Come on, stop being such a tight ass. She took a quick look around. Well, why not? There are only about 24 people we know here. Perhaps we could issue tickets. He held her wrist tightly and led her into the sea. Prem, she cautioned. It's dangerous. Have you seen the waves? Monstrous ones. Prem placed the flat of his palm on her bottom. Damn it. I know it's dangerous. That's the way I like it. But the currents, the undertow, so many people drown on this beach during the rains. Aparna stammered. Amateurs, Prem said crisply. Besides, sorry to sound crass, I've done this before, trust me. A gigantic wave crashed against them as they waded into the churning waters. It was a time of year when even local fishermen stayed on shore and mended their nets quietly. Aparna was amazed at herself. What was she doing with the unpredictable Prem? A brilliant but lunatic ad man who was married to someone else? Why was she so meekly following him into this notoriously perilous sea that dragged the unsuspecting to their watery deaths each year? And she wasn't even a good swimmer. But Prem had that effect on her. She hated him for it. She often hated herself too. No, Aparna was definitely not in love with the man. She knew that for sure. But she needed him, both at work and at play. Prem was a convenience, a cold-blooded one. But what the hell? It worked the same way for him too. What's more, he got paid for it. She rather liked that. Prem, her creative director. Prem, her imaginative lover. Good equation, that. They were waist-deep in violently swirling water by now. Prem had a manic gleam in his eyes as he held onto her hand and pulled her in deeper. The water had reached their shoulders. Aparna's feet were sinking into the rapidly moving sand. The rain had stopped. There was an eerie yellow glow in the overcast sky. A strong breeze blew salt spray into her face as she shut her eyes to prevent them from stinging. Prem held her by the waist and instructed, "Remove your bikini bottom. Keep one arm on my shoulders. I'll steady you. Don't worry. It's easy, even if you do lose your footing." Aparna threw back her head. She was tempted to laugh, in sheer fright. Prem looked at her unblinkingly. They could hear shrieks of laughter as a group of noisy teenagers frolicked in the shallows. Two pale-skinned foreigners were valiantly attempting to windsurf and falling into the rolling waves. Aparna undid the bright pink strings that held the bottom of her lycra bikini up. Within seconds, she was naked waist down. Her hand clutched the bikini half underwater. Prem reached for it and took it from her. "Can't afford to let it float away in a moment of abandon, can we? Imagine walking to the lobby starkers." Aparna watched as he unzipped a small pocket on his swimming trunks and stuffed her swimwear into it. "Now for the top. Go on. Off with it. Let's play mermaid." Aparna was bobbing up and down in a vain effort to combat the sharp slap of the waves. Her torso was well above the water most of the time. "Don't be silly, Prem. I don't want half of Bombay to see my boobs." Prem looked over his tanned, gym-worked shoulder. "No one's looking, I swear. Do it, take it off, or else I will." Before Aparna could respond, he'd unclasped the top and fastened it around his own waist. "Ready?" he asked, reaching down and caressing between her legs. He forced her knees open and she found herself experiencing the most incredible sensation as the cool water splashed right into her, creating strange rhythms of its own. She shut her eyes while Prem drew her to him. She found her legs, lighter than ever in salt water, float up as if defying gravity, and wrap themselves around her lover's trim, taut waist. He reached out and supported Aparna's neck as her body arched gracefully backwards and her hair floated on the surface of the sea. A shaft of sunlight tore through the clouds and shimmered over the waves that barely covered her naked body. Prem had deftly arranged his briefs so that she could feel him growing against her inner thigh. With one hand, he massaged her breasts in gentle circular strokes. Aparna allowed her mind to float. She blanked everything out, her work, her troubled past, even her uncertain future. The moment was here and now. She wanted Prem with a sort of ferocious urgency she'd never experienced. Not even with her ex-husband Rohit, at the time she was in love with him the most. And she didn't even like Prem. Well, that wasn't true. She must have liked him to be here in the first place. But Prem made her feel almost uncomfortably wanton. Something Rohit rarely did for fear of spoiling her with his sexual attention. Don't want to have a broad with an "I'm so sexy" complex hanging around demanding more. he'd once told her, a nasty edge to his voice.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?